I'm not quite sure why I'm doing this video, because I mean, there's niche and then there's whatever the fuck I'm doing right now. This is a bottle of Madeira. It's a bottle of supermarket Madeira, because for some reason I suddenly got an idea in my head of like, what is Madeira? I think I was thinking about the cake, and then you know how like sometimes your mind kind of spirals out of control, and before you know it I was on Madeira the wine. So I bought a bottle. This is a cheap, readily available bottle from Sainsbury's, and it's from Henriques and Henriques, or Henriques and Henriques. I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. I think it's Henriques because it's Q-U-E-S. Produced in Portugal, because it must be in order to be a Madeira. This is not going to be a video on what is Madeira, how is it made, all that kind of a thing. This is very much somebody who's never actually had Madeira before, trying it for the first time and kind of finding out what it's like, because I do a lot of videos about people kind of trying things the first time and recommending stuff, and I like to occasionally go back to that state by like visiting something that I've never tried before and being like, okay, let's put myself back in those shoes. What would I like to know about something where it just seems like a wall of information? And wine is a big one with me at the minute. Hop varieties being another one, weirdly. But sort of the world of wine outside of sherry, really, is one that I'm just kind of like... So I'm hoping to do more kind of like wine stuff in 2021. This isn't going to be a wine channel, don't panic, that's not happening. I'm not going to be a wine wanker. Probably will end up being a wine wanker if I go down that road, because that's just the kind of person I am. But anyway, so yeah, Madeira. I'm just going to kind of dive in and see what it's like. Now, I have done a quick bit of research on what Madeira is. There was no mention of the cake. But basically it's fortified wine, so similar to like port, sherry, that kind of a thing, grapes involved, yada yada. And the idea was it was fortified for long voyages, because it was popular amongst like dock-going sailors, basically. You know, they wanted some booze for a travel. And they discovered that it reacts really well to being heated and agitated, which is a little bit unusual for wine in and of itself. So now that's part of the Madeira process. There's three ways of doing it. There's the cheap way, which involves putting it in either a concrete or stainless steel tub and then heating it using coils on the outside, and that's done like en masse. So that's what this will be. This will be kind of like your industrial version. There's one that's used by, I think, one producer does it. It involves steam or something. And then there's the boutique method, or the traditional method, which the casks are just kind of left there to heat up naturally in like the summer sun. I've had a few people talk about Madeira in like glowing terms, so I'm looking forward to this. There's a bit of, I was going to say a bit of Dutch on it. There's a bit of writing on it. Now, there are also different varietals of Madeira, going from fairly dry to really sweet, and they each have like particular names. I cannot remember those names off the top of my head, because again, this is not a well-researched video. This is very much a diving in head first in the deep end kind of a video. And I can't see the names for the different varieties line up with anything that's on this bottle. It just says full rich, so I'm assuming it's on the sweeter side. You're more kind of desserty kind of a Madeira. I'm okay with sweet stuff. I don't have an objection to that. One cool thing about Madeiras as well is like once you open them, they're pretty much stable. If they're using like the more traditional method, if it's like the cheap and nasty version, then it'll last about a year. So it's still fairly stable, but nowhere near as stable as the traditional, which basically, that process basically makes the wine invincible, which is really cool. So I learned something. So I'm going to pop the cork on this. That's the seal broken. So I've got a month. Is it a month or a year that I've got this? A month that I've got this for. Whew. It doesn't say to refrigerate it. So this should be interesting. Oh, I'm getting Pedro Jimenez vibes off of that. It's really dark chestnut coloured. I want to say burnt sienna for anyone who's ever done a bit of oil painting. Oh, move that there. Lovely. Yeah, so this is a video that literally nobody asked for. I thought it would be a bit of fun, you know, to kind of watch someone who, you know, normally talks in slightly snobby terms sometimes about like whiskey and gin and stuff, as if, you know, he knows everything. You kind of like, you know, see me go back to something where I have no idea what I'm talking about. Because there's something about hubris that is keeps you right, keeps your feet on the ground. Getting like it's reminding me a lot of like Oloroso sherries. And actually, the more I'm going into it, there's like raisins. It's reminding me of like an Eccles cake, if anyone's ever had one of those. It's like this really crumbly, buttery pastry, filled, and I mean filled, with currants. Oh yeah, man, it's really giving me like Eccles cake vibe. I could go for an Eccles cake right about now. Figs, honey, luxurious smells coming off of it. Hella thick. It's been a few videos since I last said that. Thought I'd treat you all. Okay. What does Madeira taste like? Even if it is, you know, the cheap and nasty stuff. If I really like this, I need to get a bottle of, like, the good stuff. Because, oh, holy hell. If I hate this, I probably should still get a bottle of that, to be fair, to compare. The nose and the palate are completely separate. Like, it's like a completely different liquid took over. It's really like bright orange. Like, not like artificial orange flavour or anything, like you've just taken a bite out of an orange. It's juicy and a little bit pithy and a tiny bit bitter, and then this like really bright, sweet but not sugary kind of sweetness. And then it becomes a little bit currenty in the back, like you just ate an Eccles cake. I'm sticking with Eccles cakes, alright? Garibaldi, if you really want. They're not the same thing. Garibaldi biscuits are weird. If you hold it in your mouth first, there's like a lovely milk chocolate kind of a flavour. And then the orange comes in once you start to swallow it. And then the currants and the like stewed fruits come in afterwards. And it leaves you with like a really buttery mouthfeel. So yeah, so it goes dairy milk, fresh orange, Eccles cake. And that's the stages. I'm not sure if I can pick too much else out of it, but what is there is lovely. I'm glad I bought this. I'm going to enjoy it. This is a half bottle. It recommends 6 servings because it says that each glass should be 60 ml. I've obviously gone a bit more conservative with a pour because I didn't know whether I was going to dig it or not. Apparently I can just leave this out on the shelf. I might fridge it anyway because it's my sherry mindset of once you open a fortified wine, fridge it. Maybe that's not the right thing to do with Madeira. Let me know down below. Do you know a thing or two about Madeira? How are you supposed to drink it? What's the good Madeira? What's the bad Madeira? Is this the bad Madeira? Because if so, oh hell. Thumb this video if you enjoyed it, and do join me next time where I'll be drinking something else.